Hello everybody and welcome to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. So I actually started this series a year ago and then I left off and I never actually returned to it, and I think that is such a shame. Especially as I am so interested in mechanics. I do mechanics daily, so I love mechanics. So this is just a perfect game for me. I was doing this series for a few episodes, but then I got so many requests for me to do more Farming Simulator that I had to put it on hold, and then I never returned. So I am going to do a few more odd episodes. It's not going to be a main series, but they're going to be like random videos every now and then. So I'm going to begin today by continuing from where we left off. And you have to use the phone to see what orders you've got coming in. You have your experience on the top right hand corner here, and when you have a certain amount of experience you can do some more advanced and obviously more expensive jobs. At the moment we're still on the fairly cheap ones, but that's okay because we're going to be upgrading very soon to some of the better jobs. We currently have 2,122 experience points, which is actually pretty good. So we're going in the right direction. Now this toolbox over here is where you can upgrade various tools within your workshop. And there's one which I really want, and it's the fast stem bolting, because currently we're just using a ratchet and it is very slow. So we're going to upgrade that. And now hopefully when we're removing things from the car, it'll be much faster. I don't know if it's still a ratchet or if it's like an air impact gun or something, I'm not sure. But we're going to have to wait and see. So to begin with, I think we're going to go with this car just here, which has got poor brake performance. So we're going to take that job, and it should now load the car. The loading time's usually not too bad, so with a bit of luck it's going to come back. There we go. So yes, this is our car for today, and if you press O, you could say it's cheating, but I think it's just like an aid. It helps you to know what's actually going on with the car. So basically it needs 2 new brake pads, 1 new brake disc and a brake caliper. So to find out what is actually wrong with this car, whereabouts on the car it is, we have to put it on one of the lifters over here. There are 2 lifters that you can put it on. Obviously only 1 lifter at a time, otherwise we'd be splitting the car in half. So we need to press move vehicle. We can choose left lifter or right lifter. We're going to go for not the left lifter because it's not ready. We're going to go for the right lifter. Yes, that does need to be lowered. So here it is on the lifter. We now need to put it up so we can gain access to all the different areas on the car. So it's actually at the moment completely blind. We don't know whereabouts on the car, which side it is, where the issue is. Obviously it's within the braking system behind each wheel, but we don't know which wheel. So we're going to have to go behind them all. Yeah, it's still a ratchet, but it is much faster to remove, so that is much nicer. So we can go on to the examine mode. And we can see that this brake disc here is okay. It's amber, so we're going to leave it. There's nothing seriously wrong with it. In fact, everything there is okay. So I think for this side, the front side, we are going to actually put that back together again, because there isn't really much wrong with it. So if we go back up here again, go on to assemble mode, we can put the rim back on. Yeah, that is much faster than it used to be. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll see how much slower that was. And if you've in fact played the game yourself, you'll also know how much slower it is when you've got the slow unbolting. So moving on to the next side, let's do a bit of inspecting and examining. The brake disc is okay, and it is actually telling us that the brake pads are no good. So let's disassemble this. We can actually spin around and see the bolts, but you can remove them from the opposite side if you want to. And yes, look at that corroded thing. Let's get that removed, and we'll be able to buy a new one later on. So that is one off. Next we've got to go onto this side. We'll get the wheel removed. You can already see actually there's a lot of rust behind here. So it's likely that that brake disc is no good. Yes, it's already done the examining for us because we're in the early stages of the game. So it does make it easier. Remove the caliper, we'll remove the pads, and we'll remove the brake disc. Note that this is the standard brake disc and not the ventilated one, because we need to know that for when we actually come to this later on, because otherwise we'll be fitting the incorrect disc to the car. Clearly, everything has already been examined, which does make it very easy, but yeah, we should probably still do it ourselves. So yes, the brake caliper needs to be replaced on that side. not the brake disc or pads. And this side, well, it's looking okay. I might just check that pad. There we go. So yep, all good. So we'll put that back together again. Just doing a thorough check just to make sure, as we do not want anything to be going wrong with our customer's car. Bolt the caliper back on, and we'll put the wheel back on. There we go. Quickly blast them up. Good, so now we need to buy our parts in the car parts shop. We need to get standard brake disc, just the one, a brake caliper, and we also need to get 2 brake pads. So that is everything that we need. No, we don't want to quit. Let's now fit everything onto the car that we need to. So if we go back up here, we can put the new brake pad in. We can then put the caliper back on. And then finally, we can put the wheel back on. It calls it the rim, but I just call it a wheel. So that is that side completed. Now for this side, let's put our brand new brake disc in. Brand new brake pads. It was very bad on this side. And bolt that on. And finally, the wheel again. And that's this side completed as well. Good. So, around here. Yeah, this side was actually okay. Nothing too serious. Job done, and yeah, I think that is actually it. Let's have a look. Brilliant, so $404 earned from this job. We still have 4 jobs waiting. It's a very busy garage. Actually, before I go over to the phone, well, last time I played this, there was none of this branding up here, none of these company names. Sealy are very good tools, take note. They really are. Nearly everything I buy now is Sealy. Yes, let's move on to the next vehicle. So the next one could potentially be poor brake performance. Again, we're not going to do that though because we've just done it. So we've got general running gear control and repair issues, and also controlling the car feels loose. Okay, probably tie rods or track rod ends, quite possibly. It will of course tell us though, so we will have a look at the list and see what the predetermined issues are. Wow, yeah, so we've got an inner tie rod, outer tie rod, rear axle knuckle housing A. We could just buy these straight away. Shocks, shock cap, rubber bushing and spring cap. Oh yes, I remember one of these jobs before. We were doing one of these before. I put it on the lifter and I could not find which rubber bushing it was. It took me forever to complete. I think I did most of it off screen in the end because it just took so long. But let's get this on the left lifter. And immediately the next call comes in. This is a busy garage. So, yes, let's just have another quick look at the list just to make sure we know what we're doing. So, yeah, most of this is pretty much within the steering of the car, although some of it is within the suspension. If we go up here, we might just be able to see if it's already been examined. Yep, here we go, over here. Already got some issues. And I think to remove the outer tie rod and the inner tie rod, we're going to have to remove the wheels. It does tend to make us do that. So fair enough. We will remove the wheels. You would do this anyway, I think, because you need to have better access in there, more light and everything. So hope for the best this will work. Inner tie rod as well. Back into the examination mode, and all the other issues seem to be at the back of the car. So we'll move to the back. We'll go up here. We'll examine things again. Yeah, so just here, the rear shock absorber. So we'll remove that. And then in here we have got the spring cap, but to get that off, we have to remove the rear spring and possibly something else. Yep, it certainly gives us some error messages. There we go. How did I miss that? So let's have a look on examination mode again. Have we got the same problems on the other side? No, we don't, but we have found the rubber bushing. Not so difficult this time. So that should be everything. Oh no, we've got some more issues. What are these over here? Ah yes, the rear axle knuckle housing A. and also the rear shock absorber cap. The rear axle knuckle housing is a more challenging job because there are a lot of things attached to this. So I think, yeah, first of all, this just here needs to come off. It does tend to tell you, it is very helpful. It tells you what needs to come off. Yeah, that has to come off. The rear suspension arm has to come off. But to get the rear suspension arm off, yeah, this is a big job actually. This really is. We're going to have to strip everything back. So, we'll remove the rim. Just get that off really quickly. Yeah, if you hover over it, it tells you what needs to come off. The rear suspension arm also. But to get the rear suspension arm off, there are other things as well. And then, oh, still going. Many things have to be removed. This is quite a complex job actually, this one. Now I have to work in from this side. So let's remove the wheel hubcap. Yep, it's going to want us to take everything off. Literally everything. So off comes this. And finally, there we go. I think that is everything. Yep, we have to go even further in because we have to remove all this to get into there. That would be a very labour-intensive job in real life and would likely cost quite a bit of money. But finally, we have done it. So we'll once again just check our shopping list. We need an inner tie rod, an outer tie rod, a rear axle knuckle housing A, rear shock absorber A. I think we'll do this job by job actually. We'll do the tie rods first, get them out of the way. Because otherwise we're going to be mixing things up. So, tie rods, we need to look for I to begin with. Keep going, there we go. Okay, so, inner tie rod, apply. And now we need the outer tie rod. There we go. Back to the car. We'll get this fitted. And if we can remember where it went, it was somewhere up here. Back into assemble mode. I think yeah, it was this side, wasn't it? And I'll put the new one on there. So that is the first problem solved. Now for the next problem. Those two are ticked. We now need the spring cap, rubber bushing, and then the other three are for the other side, but we might need a rear shock absorber cap as well. So spring cap, rubber bushing, and rear shock. Here's our spring cap. And now for the shocks, rubber bushing. This is where it gets a bit tricky to remember what exactly it was that we needed. Rear shock absorber A, was it? Yeah, this is getting a good memory test. Let's just have a look here. Rear shock absorber A and rear axle knuckle housing A. Just got to remember the A's. Okay, so rear shock absorber A and rear axle knuckle housing A. There we go. So now hopefully we'll be able to reassemble this side, which has been totally stripped down. It really was a big job. Get that back into there. Yeah, I love this fast bolting and unbolting. Put the brake disc on, which has got some wear, but nothing too serious. The brake pads, the caliper. And before we put the wheel back on, obviously we'll do everything within here. Otherwise it's going to be quite hard to see what we're doing. New shock, just going in there. Ah, sway bar rear end link. That was no good. So we'll buy one of those as well. The price is certainly adding up of all these parts. You see, it might try to trick you out by not listing something that it needs. So you've actually got to use your brain and remember what it is and everything. Yeah, just like I need to use my brain and remember where that thing was. There it was. Good. Put that back into there. Yep, just found a few more down here. It is, even though it tells you some of the things it needs, it is quite hard to remember everything you do need. Like, you need a pen and paper just to write it all down. Even though it's a simulator, you still need to write everything down. But that is the spring for that side. I think I've done it all, hopefully. Now it's just this side, because there was definitely a spring on this side as well. We mustn't forget anything. Here we go. Spring cap in there. And then we put the actual spring in. And the absorber cap. Oh, that was no good. We need a new shock absorber cap for the rear. So if we go to R, there's a lot of rear things. That's good. We've put all the bearings back at the bushings in as well, which connect everything together. It's all looking good under here. Cross sections are in. So the final thing now should just be that shock absorber cap. And the final thing just over here is the wheel, which needs to go on. We can't really be finishing the job without putting the wheel on. So we'll bolt that on, and with a bit of luck we haven't missed anything. Please tell me we've completed this correctly. But it looks good here. $645 worth. Did we miss nothing? We didn't. Fantastic. So that is another car processed through our very busy garage. Let's go back over to the phone, see if there's any different orders in. What's the camera for? That is actually not a bad idea. You can take pictures of parts so you know exactly what you're removing. I like that. Now I cannot leave this without doing this one. This is a DLC, this one. And this one is obviously a different car because it's not in the base game. We need to replace timing related parts, and it's got a loud exhaust. So yeah, timing belt, so yeah, cam belt, stuff like that. Look at the thing. Oh, it's so cute. And that is a classic, that really is. So it wants cam gear, small cam gear, timing chain, and for the exhaust, an exhaust manifold. So probably got holes in it, rusted through. Yeah, no engine in here. Here it is, rusty thing. Let's take a good inspection. Now to get into it, we're going to have to, depending on where it is, this timing chain, we might have to get the side cover off. Yeah, this is an interesting looking engine. Well, they've already examined it for us, so the exhaust manifold is there. Everything else is probably, I would have thought, hidden underneath the cover. We just need to work out which cover it is. Right, just down here we've got the timing cover. So to disassemble that, we're going to have to remove, annoyingly, the crankshaft pulley, which means you're going to have to take the serpentine belt off. Luckily, in this simulator, you don't have to do any tensions or anything. You don't have to tension the belts. It does it all for you, which does make it much easier. So crankshaft pulley, that can be a stubborn thing to get off. And then in here, we've got the timing cover. Many bolts. Lucky we've got the fasten bolting. Blast that off, and we'll continue to examine. Yep, so we've got cam gear, which needs to be replaced, and then we've got the chain, which should come off with it, as we don't have a detensioning device. Let's see. There we go. Good. Finally, we've got a small cam gear. That needs to slide off. And then we'll examine again, and it seems that everything is okay, except for the exhaust manifold. Wow. What a lot of bolts. Right, so we've got the parts off that we need to. We now need to just buy everything. The best thing to do once again is to check this. So we need a cam gear, a small cam gear, and a timing chain. We actually have to go into the different part shop. I don't know how to pronounce that. The Malunch part shop, I think. But everything, these are obviously, it's quite a niche market, I would say, for these. So it's obviously harder to find. But the small cam gear is here. I'm eating my words at the moment. We also need to get the standard cam gear, but also the timing chain, which is just here. The timing cover, was that bad? I'll come back to that later. The standard cam gear will be at the top. Cam gear, there we go. And also the exhaust manifold. That was pretty bad. So that would be in here. Now we'll just double check and see if there's anything else. I think we have got everything. I think we have. So yes, all the work is at the back of the car. We will probably do the timing first. It's the biggest job. So on goes the small gear, timing chain, then the cam gear. That all looks really good. Then we'll be able to put the cover back on. Many bolts. Yeah, I thought it was bad because it's got rust on it, but it's actually not too bad. It's still got a lot of life in it. It's just surface rust. And then the crankshaft pulley with the big bolt, or nut, sorry. Oh, getting confused. Let's get the bolts in. And finally the serpentine belt, which will be tensioned for us. Next we have got the exhaust manifold. And then the muffler with a very long pipe on it. And I would say that is a job well done. Fantastic. Finished job, 269 easy dollars. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the 3 cars we've just done. Yeah, I think the second car I did was the toughest because there were so many little bits and we had to strip down a lot of the rear of the car, which was quite a big job. That one I enjoyed. We need to do more DLCs. I'm going to have to download some more DLCs, I think, because that'll make it a lot more exciting. But I do look forward to the next episode. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it. I need to do some more farming diaries, so that will be a priority as well. But yeah, that was good fun. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, then please do join me again next time for more on Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. Until next time, bye for now.